Now, second story of the day, since we're talking about breaking, we're talking about dancing. Very interesting debate popped up on Stephen A. Smith's show. Now, Tank is a legendary R&B singer. Uh, he's singer songwriter, and he has a stellar career on his own. But he went on to Stephen A. Smith's show and said that Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. Chris Brown, Chris Brown, Chris Brown has surpassed Michael Jackson. Okay, all right. Let's just check what he says.
Chris Brown is, in fact, better than Michael Jackson.
What? Do you understand what you're saying? Tank, do you understand what you're saying, my man? I mean, you admired, you're revered, you're associated with music, my brother. Everybody loves and respects you.
If there was Magic Johnson, now there is LeBron James.
You're revered.
This is actually an interesting point that Tank makes. It's an interesting point that Tank makes.
Right? You're associated with music, my brother. Everybody loves and respects you.
If there was Magic Johnson, now there is LeBron James. That is the ultimate evolution of a man who can play all five positions. We talk about Chris Brown. We're talking about the evolution of Michael Jackson, the evolution of Usher, the evolution of me, the evolution of Genuine. That is what this kid is.
Oh, come on, Tank, come on, man. Come on, man. When I saw...
I'm sorry, Stephen A. sound like a Boondocks character right there. Oh, come on, Tank. Oh, come on right now, man. Oh, come on, man. Where's Aaron McGruder when you need him?
Chris Brown performed. He's the best in the world right now. The best in the world, one of one. I'm just challenging the next level. Like, I didn't know there was a next level after Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, so Tank goes on Instagram and he breaks it down in more detail. Vocal ability, he says Chris Brown is better. Writing ability, Michael Jackson is worse than Chris Brown. Producing ability, Michael Jackson is worse than Chris Brown. And dancing ability, Michael Jackson is worse than Chris Brown. He goes on to say, I know you're going to say MJ's catalog is crazy, songs are classic, etc., but that was because of a lot of great people involved who were some of the greatest at what they do. CB orchestrates his own movement from studio to visual to show. No handouts, no sponsors, and all while the world was against him, I'm ready to argue. I mean, now, all of this stuff is, I describe a lot of these things as preference, right? I mean, vocal ability, writing ability, producing ability, dancing ability. Tank is an expert in these fields, and he has a different view and a different lens on what is really happening, you know, in the creation of these songs and these performances. So he's an expert opinion. But I think a lot of where people are coming from, the general population, will fall into the preference category, right? So, but this conversation has been heating up in the past couple of years, and maybe it's been there for a long time, but as Chris Brown's career has continued, we're starting to see this conversation resurface, right? I mean, for example, this happened 8 months ago. Chris Brown has surpassed the legends, Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, to become the singer with the most top 10 albums on the Billboard charts. 12 top 10 albums, right? I mean, maybe a lot. I mean, that's crazy to pass Michael Jackson at Stevie Wonder. But, you know, his audience is there. There's an interesting medium thread here. Who is better? Musical achievement. Michael Jackson is widely regarded as one of the most successful and influential musicians of all time. Facts. He has sold over 350 million records worldwide, won 15 Grammy Awards, and holds the record for best-selling album of all time with Thriller, which has sold over 66 million copies. Facts. He is also known for his groundbreaking music videos such as Thriller, Beat It, and Smooth Criminal, which revolutionized the art form and influenced generations of artists. Facts, right? Chris Brown is one of the most popular and versatile artists of his generation. He has sold over 140 million records worldwide. That's crazy. Won one Grammy Award and has 16 top 10 singles on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. He is also known for his diverse musical styles ranging from R&B, pop, hip hop to dancehall, reggae, and trap. He has collaborated with many other artists such as Rihanna, Drake, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and Justin Bieber. I feel like Chris Brown, because of the situation with him and Rihanna, because of that assault, I feel like he was voted off the island, so to speak. So I'm not sure if I look at Grammy Awards, awards is necessarily the same. Michael Jackson's allegations obviously came much later in his career than at the beginning of his career. Chris Brown's happened at the beginning of his career. And here's how they describe their dancing skills. Michael Jackson is widely regarded as one of the best dancers of all time. He is famous for his signature moves such as the moonwalk, the spin, the robot, and the anti-gravity lean. Man, that was so crazy how he did that in the Smooth Criminal video. He is also known for his incredible agility, coordination, and rhythm. He has inspired many other dancers and performers such as Usher, Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, and Beyonce. Chris Brown is also a very talented, skilled dancer. He's famous for his acrobatic moves such as the backflip, the split, and the wall flip. He's also known for his energy, charisma, and creativity. He has impressed many audiences and critics with live performances and dance battles. As I mentioned, they both have allegations against them. If we just keep this on the music side, Tank raises a point. Michael Jackson had a whole crazy team and, writing his stuff. I did an interview with Quincy Jones in a video I made a long time ago that was talking about Prince versus Michael Jackson's beef. And Quincy Jones he's the only person I've ever talked to who wasn't impressed by Michael Jackson at all because he made Thriller. He made Thriller with Michael Jackson. He made these albums with him. He's not impressed by Michael Jackson. He talked about him like, he was a global superstar, but it's Quincy Jones, right? I don't know if Chris Brown has worked, had someone help craft albums as big as Quincy Jones has, you know what I mean? Quincy Jones is just on another level in general. But Chris Brown can move, man. He really can. Like this is my favorite Chris Brown dance move of all time. This was from the 2008 BET Awards. This is him and Ciara. She's crazy dancer too. But when this happened, this was so viral when this joint happened. There's this crazy lean thing where Ciara's about to lean back on Chris Brown's leg, and they pop up. It's almost like, it's if you want like Michael Jackson anti-gravity lean, this is one of these things right here. That's just, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy every time. Every time I see that, I'm like, man, that's wild. He really is a creative dancer. And if he's choreographing these things, that's even more. Now, here's a clip from Chris Brown's Michael Jackson tribute. So this is Michael Jackson. So you get it. Let's look at side by side, right? That's Chris Brown. Here's Michael Jackson. That was Chris Brown. See, and this is the other thing that I think is a huge difference. A huge difference, right? Where Michael Jackson tends to, it's the reason why it sounds so crazy to Stephen A. Smith to me more so is Michael Jackson was a master of the performative in a way that I don't think anyone else is. Perhaps Kanye West is the closest, perhaps Kanye West is the closest that I can think of. Maybe Beyonce, but just in general, every time Michael Jackson showed up, it felt like the world shook from a performance standpoint. And, Zach Greenberg from Forbes, he did a book on the business of Michael Jackson. It's really fascinating. And he talks about how Michael Jackson was inspired by Barnum and Bailey, the circus. Quincy Jones talked about that in my conversation with him too. He talks about Michael was a master of tension and release. So when you watch every video of Michael Jackson, someone's getting chased, he's running from somebody, someone's on his heels. And that level of performative, I think, raises people's feeling about Michael Jackson, past the point of just all the meaningful, masterful music he put out into the world. I was talking to Ricky Dredd and Daylight. Daylight and I talk about this too, about Drake. There's a lot of comparisons between Drake and Michael Jackson, or Drake forces that comparison to Michael Jackson. Well, Michael Jackson has a whole lot of heal the worlds. I think Drake needs some heal the worlds right now. Like he needs some heal the world type music. But when you start adding like heal the world and, they don't really care about us. Daylight points out that that's that generation's, they not like us, really. You start adding the meaningful music along with Michael Jackson being a master of the performance, performative of the show, the tension, the release. I just think he's in another stratosphere than anybody else, right? And so the thing that is, the thing that I love about, this conversation is that Chris Brown has spoken on this. He spoke on this in 2002. There's a conversation, shout out to Vibe Magazine. They reported on this story. The interview was with Big Boy. So shout out to Big Boy for getting it. So they asked him, here recently, both Fabio Foreign and Tank claimed that Chris Brown had reached or eclipsed the king of pop and talent. Here's what he said then. This is 2002. That's cap. I stay the hell up out of it. I kind of back off it. My personal take on it is I wouldn't even be breathing or even being able to sing a song if that man didn't exist. So I don't know if they look at it as the Jordan Kobe thing, but I can't even look at it. He's light years ahead. There's no competing with him. Hell no. I got shrines of this man hanging up in my house. Hell nah, I ain't better than Michael Jackson. So, maybe that's the big deference thing. I tend to believe Chris Brown is probably saying the truth. And, who wants to come outside and say they're better than Michael Jackson and have to deal with, all the people globally who have been moved by that man's music. I mean, it was a big deal when Jay-Z said, if I ain't better than Big, I'm the closest one. Even insinuating that back then was kind of crazy. Well, I thought, this is an interesting discussion here. Let me know what you guys think. Like, has Chris Brown surpassed Michael Jackson in your eyes? Tech raises a lot of interesting points, a lot of really good points, in my opinion. I personally give the nod to Michael Jackson because Tech didn't mention the performative. He didn't mention just the massive size of his videos, his imagery. And to me, that's the tipping point between the two. But let me know what you think. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views, it's radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.